Chuai Labs probably looked at a game genre Venn diagram and decided combining a roguelike or rogue-lite with a 2D golf game would be a sure indie hit. The concept is certainly interesting, and dipping this in a sweet pixel sauce makes this game also eligible to be reviewed by me. In an unfortunate act of nature, the world's greatest golfer gets hit by lightning and gets killed instantly. After this untimely death, we end up in the eternal plane between our known world and hell, better known as Golf Purgatory. Fortunately for our nameless protagonist, the only way out of Purgatory is an 18-hole golf course. Held by your caddy, mentor the Scotsman and others, you try to get back to the land of the living by defeating the greenkeeper's randomized 18-part torture course. The game's theatrical introduction and descent to the Golf Purgatory sets the tone for the game's quirky and fluffy visual presentation and light-hearted dialogue. This introduction transcends seamlessly into the tutorial, which explains most of the gameplay mechanics and rules. Although it's a bit long with a lot of dialogue, it does the job well to lay out the rules and mechanics of the game. Those can be brought back to 3 basic principles. Inevitable are the golf clubs. Those are simplified to a driver, an iron and a wedge. Every course is set to par 5, with the ability to gain more strokes along the way by crushing idols. Last but not least, you have the ability to use, buy and earn ace cards. These cards add a bunch of power-ups to your golf game. Like blowing up TNT to create shortcuts, add extra strikes and abilities like removing the bounce of the ball or redirect the ball mid-air. To return to existence, you have to successfully complete the 18-hole course path laid out by the greenskeeper, the keeper of the Golf Purgatory. The course is split up into 4 different areas with boss battles in between. If you fail by running out of strikes, you return to the first hole while the path of the course will be reshuffled. In good roguelike tradition, you can save your ace cards for later runs by adding them to your binder at the Eternity Golf Shop. Between holes, you can invest your earned coin into new cards sold by the caddy of that specific area. There's also money and cards to be picked up along the way. The holes are complex 2D side-scrolling structures that go horizontally as well as vertically, unsurprisingly filled with traditional golf hazards like rough patches, ponds and bunkers, but also platform-like obstacles and structures like spikes, portals, bumper platforms and ball-crushing graves. The strategy and plotting you need to do reminds me a lot of an overly complicated version of mini-golf. To get high on the online leaderboard, you definitely need to make maximum use of the shortcuts. They are generally hard to hit and could in many cases end your game. You can easily get your ball stuck in a corner of a course, take away a bunch of your strokes trying to get out. You generally need to maximize the ace cards, get into paths that are otherwise not reachable. Taking your time and meticulously plot your next move and using your ace cards well and a lot is the only way of getting through the golf course efficiently. Controls and physics take not much time to get used to, and if you are familiar with retro golf games like Neo Turf Masters, you should feel right at home. Due to the 2D side view, the field of view can be pretty limited, adding to the difficulty as the driver at full power will certainly launch your ball out of sight. You can reposition the camera left or right a bit, and you also have the ability to scout the course with the periscopic birdie eye cam. Although it feels like an intended part of the game mechanics, I do really would have liked if the camera would be able to zoom out to a substantial bigger part of the course while aiming your shot. In general, I definitely like the core gameplay. The 2D graphics are very pleasing to look at, well animated and adorable sprite work. The music is pretty solid with a funky pop score, although it gets a bit repetitive in long play sessions. My main criticism is that I feel that the game would be more fleshed out if it had even more roguelike elements, like procedurally generated levels and actual character XP, which in some way would make every run a little different. After 10 hours and seeing the first section for 20 times, I'm starting to feel that I have to play too long before I really get challenged again in later levels, as some holes can take very long to complete, even the easier ones. So the game isn't perfect, but the great overall production values, the ace cards, combined with just fun core gameplay, makes this game a no-brainer to recommend. All that said, I give it an 8 out of 10. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.